Okay, so when you can intelligently decide what is right and what is wrong for you, you become cause over the situation. That is the first step in stopping the fear. As fear is only an inability to observe. Once you understand that there is really, the story is not what they make it to be, you will stop being afraid and no one will be able to change your mind because you will know how to look. But at the beginning, when you don't know how to look, it sounds really bad. It sounds really, really bad. When you can observe, you are not afraid. And when you are not afraid, you can find what is right for you, what is logical for you. Not because 200 reporters say so, but because you know. And this is really important. Are you a parrot? Most people are simply parrots. Most people are really simply parrots. They just heard something and they're repeating it. They don't actually understand. They don't really understand. They hear something and they're repeating it. They hear, oh, it's difficult or it's dangerous. So it's difficult and it's dangerous because someone says so. Since we don't know how many cases actually exist, the statistic looks worse than what they actually are. If there are 1 million people that are infected, but only 100,000 people develop symptoms and get reported, and from these 100,000, there are 1,000 that die, it seems that the virus has mortality rate of 1,000 people by 100,000, or 10% mortality rate. Yet, if you will take all the 1 million people that actually got infected, you will find that 1,000 deaths out of 1 million equal to 0.1% mortality rate. Do you understand this concept? That they don't know how many people are sick because they know only people that come with bad condition because they arrive to a hospital. They take only most of the people will not develop any symptom or very light symptom. They will never be tested. Because they will never be tested, they will never be counted. So the number of people that consider to actually have the coronavirus is, let's say, a few 100,000, but the reality is that it's probably something like 10, 15, 30 million people. That's the actual reality, because the rate of infection of the coronavirus is very, very high. You understand what I mean, rate of infection? Let me explain. Rate of infection. Let me explain to you this thing that's called rate of infection. Let's say there's one person here. What we know about the coronavirus is that the rate of infection is 1 to 3, which means you have 1, then you have 9, because each one of those guys will have 3, and then you have etc., etc. So it starts with here 1, and then 3, and then 9, and then 27, 54, etc. Okay. In comparison, the rate of infection of flu is 1 to 1, which means they have one person. This is flu. Flu actually have a very low level of infection. So one person will infect one person, okay? And this one person will infect another person. And this one person will infect another person, etc. So the infection line here is quite steady. It's the same kind of rate, but the infection line here is more like a logarithmic kind of infection. It goes like that. Do you understand? Are you with me? Yes. Also, there's another factor that defines how fast the virus will expand. Is that if a virus take from the moment that it exposed until it's dying is 14 days, okay? In a coronavirus, until you realize you have symptoms, it takes about 7 days, okay? So 7 days you don't know what's happening. So throughout these 7 days, you can affect people unbeknown to you. In the case of the flu, it's 1 day. What does it mean? That if the total number of flu cases in this period is more or less around the globe per year. Flu goes more or less about 30 million people. And this is 3 times faster, but exponential bigger. This thing will be minimum, the coronavirus will be minimum at this moment, right now, 30 million people. Not 400,000, but 30 million people. So if these 30 million people, and from these 30 million people, 22,000 die, the percentage is 0. But if there are only 400,000 people that got infected and 22 people die, the percentage is here is somewhere around I don't know, overall 3, more or less, it seems like 3 to 4%, okay? And here is 0.0001%. I didn't calculate it right now, but I'm just doing an estimation. But do you understand the point? It is definitely better to get coronavirus than to get flu. Are you with me? But people are not afraid of flu, and people are terrified. They're in terror from coronavirus. Why? Because coronavirus is a virus with the PR campaign.